Hello, my name is Tramble, and this is my institutional financial analysis project, the state financing project presentation. The purpose of this analysis is to review and compare two USG schools that I've chosen, and we're going to review their enrollment profile and the breakdown of their enrollment for 2018, and then the financial aid data that I found, basically looking at the Pell Grant for the institutions. And then I'm going to highlight some of the expenses for these two schools and the revenues for the two schools as well. So the two institutions that I chose to compare for this analysis are Kennesaw State University and Georgia Southern University. Kennesaw State University has 35,000 undergraduate and graduate students, and they have 150 bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees. These programs are spread across their 13 colleges that are located on two different campuses. And as some of you know, with USG institutions, many of them have been consolidated over the past few years. And Kennesaw State consolidated with Southern Polytechnic State University, and this is how they became located on two different campuses and became the overall what is known as Kennesaw State University now, and that consolidation happened back in 2016. Georgia Southern has 26,000 undergraduate and graduate students combined, 141 bachelor's, master's, and doctorate programs, so almost as many as Kennesaw State does. And those programs are spread over 9 colleges on 3 different campuses. The Armstrong campus, the Hinesville campus, and the Statesboro campus. Again, USG institutions that were consolidated. Georgia Southern consolidated with Armstrong Atlantic, and they became what is known now as Georgia Southern University just last year in 2018. So I did look at the mission and the vision statement for both universities, and Georgia Southern doesn't really have a vision statement per se. I think it's kind of within their mission statement. The main thing that stuck out to me in the mission statement was their commitment to academic excellence and personal attention, and also that they foster inclusive, student-centered culture where they develop their students to be lifelong learners, leaders in the community. Kennesaw State's mission statement, what stood out to me with theirs was that they help students succeed through exploration, collaboration, rigor, and uniting a diverse spectrum of backgrounds and talents. The other thing that stood out to me is they highlight how they are student-centered and research-driven, which also Georgia Southern highlighted that they are student-centered as well. So the enrollment profile at Georgia Southern is they have the total enrollment of 26,000, like I mentioned before. Their female to male breakup is 56% female, 43% male. And then the race and ethnicities you can see here. So predominantly white, with African American being the next largest population at 25%. The first-time full-time bachelor-seeking freshmen, for their one-year retention rate was 78.1%, and their 6-year graduation rate is 47.6%. And then their top majors, you can see those top majors there. Kennesaw State, theirs is obviously doesn't look as pretty when you pull from their website, but basically their 6-year graduation rate was 41.8%, and their 1-year retention rate is 78.3%. This breaks down their student classification, and you can see their top majors and their ethnicity profile as well, their breakdown. So the first thing I looked at was comparing the financial aid data with their by looking at iPads, and the total number of full-time first-time degree seeking undergraduates uh, in the cohort for 2016-17 was 3,543 at Georgia Southern and 5,207 at Kennesaw. The percent basically broke down to be the same of what their total population was. So while Georgia Southern's was less, since they have a smaller population, percentage-wise, it was the same. But what I did find interesting was that for some reason, Georgia Southern's Pell Grant, their average amount awarded to those students is $56 more than Kennesaw State. So I thought that was interesting since they both are supposed to be the same. Their expenses, looking at some of their like main expenses, I've looked at all of them, but this is just the some of the ones that I thought were interesting. So instruction is 123 at Georgia Southern, 123 million, and 199 million at Kennesaw State. The research, this is the one that really stood out to me with both institutions being R2 institutions. Georgia Southern's research is a lot higher than Kennesaw State's research. And then their academic support seems, about right for population size, and then student services. And then auxiliary services was also something that was higher at Georgia Southern than Kennesaw State. The revenues that I looked at, again, this wasn't all of them. This was just some of the ones that I chose to highlight here. So tuition and fees is obviously a very large part of institutions' revenues, and so Georgia Southern's for 2016-17 year was 117 million, and Kennesaw State was 193.2 million. Something else that I thought was interesting here and why I pointed it out here is the local and private operating grants and contracts, and how Georgia Southern has 9.2 million. Kennesaw State had only 154,000. And then the total operating and non-operating revenues at Georgia Southern were 362 million, and at Kennesaw State 496 million. So again, these were just some of the interesting ones that I pointed out in this presentation for you guys to compare these two institutions' financial data and background. And so my references here from Kennesaw State and Georgia Southern's websites, and from the iPad's website. Thank you.